Yeah.
Now, it looks like there's not very many in there, but once they do expand, they're going to be, you know, they'll fill this whole thing up. The other thing you can do is you can fill a Tupperware and tip this upside down, put this inside and let it, you know, soak up. Pull it out after about an hour.
Moonshine.
Yeah. And then let this drip. In fact, probably best even.
So all I do, Reuben, is I just hit it like this. If you look at it, it's about halfway.
Yeah.
Done. The alternative is you can submerge it and wait and turn it over and drip it out and all that sort of stuff, but that's...
No matter which way you fill it though, I always suggest turn it upside down and tap it or let it sit on the towel. Because when this is sitting in here and then upside down, you don't want any excess moisture dripping on your sticks. As long as you know, you've seasoned it and check on it every now and again.
And the humidity will get to the bottom of it.
There's your challenge. So you can see what happens with this guy. When you do this, and then this,
And then you have sticks on there.
and you have sticks, and how the hell does the humidity get down there? What ends up happening is the top is really humid, and the bottom just sort of absorbs water molecules over time, typically weeks. So you're just hoping kind of thing that it gets there.
Put one up here,
And one at the bottom.
put one in the bottom. Yeah.
Yep. And don't put your plates anywhere on the bottom. Or I've seen guys do this. Mount that on the bottom of your bottom tray.
Yeah.
And what's really nice about that is that when you have it mounted like that under there, it doesn't take up space for your cigar real estate.
Yeah.
Because it's out of the way. Just remember to check it.
Yeah.
The other thing that can be really handy with these guys is the Zycar Huma fan. That circulating fan.
Yeah.
It kicks on every 15 minutes for 30 seconds.
Okay.
And it runs on batteries.
Oh, okay.
They typically, I'm hearing they're lasting between 3 and 6 months depending
Okay.
what kind of batteries you use. So that's one option.
The other thing is guys will go into their boxes and rotate their stock. I'm not saying I'm not a big fan. I don't do that very much with mine, but there are guys that are anal about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. So if you're rotating your stock, you know, you're moving around the humidity as well.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And depending how full it gets in there will determine how quickly your humidity goes through all of your sticks.
Okay. Would it be beneficial to have a hydrometer at the top and one at the bottom or is that overkill?
It's not overkill. You can do it. And
In my climate controlled unit upstairs, I have 5 hygrometers.
That way you always know what's...
Well, they're battery operated, so I'll go in and go, oh, these 2 are dead. Well, I know this and this one.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that, because then you can see as well, you know, what is it sitting at the top, what is it sitting at the bottom. Some people like their Cubans and their non-Cubans at different humidity levels.
Yeah.
So if you like your Cubans at a lower humidity level, you know, then you can adjust, okay, I'm going to pack my Cubans at the bottom, or I'm going to put my Cubans at the top, depending on how your humidity is playing in there.
And these are one-way humidity, correct? Not like the Bovias where it's two-way?
Right. Some guys will say again, it's how people market things. Zycar will say that when you use their PG solution, it's a 2-way. No, I think it's a 1-way. It's all this does essentially is give off.
Okay.
But again, monitor it and see how it is. If you're going to use Boveda stuff, Boveda does not recommend crossing, you know, different humidifications. So if you're going to use Boveda and this, again, that's a personal preference, but Boveda doesn't recommend doing that. So let's season it up and get that going. So with seasoning, distilled water, there's a few schools of thought. Some people will say just put water in a ramekin or a petri dish and let it sit. Oh, has he got the reverse on there?
Yeah.
You know, because he probably had an analog in there, because they're metal on the back and you mount the magnet.
Oh, that's too bad.
I'll grab a screwdriver and I'll see if we can just pop it. But some guys will just put a dish in there and just let it sit. Other people wipe it down. Some people say, no, don't wipe it down. You're going to warp the wood. My philosophy is, as long as you don't use a whole ton of water, don't get any water pooling or saturating that, or you know, sitting with pools of water, and you're fine. We've never had a problem when we wipe down.
Scared to rip the wood off. Reuben saying, "What are you doing to my humidor?" Jeez, that is good tape.
Now another thing, Reuben, is when you're mounting the magnets on here,
Yep.
mount your magnets. I won't season that area there, because once the wood gets a little bit moist, sometimes the double-sided tape has a little bit of an issue sticking or holding. So you can see we're just, you know, a little bit, it's already, you know, soaking in and drying. So you're not putting a ton of water in there. And you may want to do it a second or third time, just depending on what your humidity level is sitting at after you season it.
Okay.
Throw your hygrometer in there and then check it out.
Now, do you want one of these
Yes.
Madeleines? Okay. That's real easy to get set up right now.
Now I noticed this as well. It's come apart right there,
Oh yeah.
which super easy fix. Just a little bit of glue.
Wood glue. Yeah.
Same with right in here,
Yeah.
just a tiny bit. Pop that in and you're good to go.
That's cool. I like that. Have you got any of the Boveda Cal kits? No.
No.
So that pack in there, after 24 hours, makes it 75% on the inside.
Okay.
This hygrometer calibrates to 75%. So what you want to do is you just want to wait
Yep.
a minimum of 24 hours, preferably 36 to 48 hours.
Okay.
And then all you do is you press and hold the button
Okay.
and wait for it to change to read 75%,
Yeah.
and then it's calibrated
Okay.
within plus or minus 1%. It's like they're amazing. Really simple to use. So the key behind it is moisture content in the wood. Because what's going to happen is the first few layers of wood
Yeah.
are going to start to increase in moisture content by providing the humidity in there. If you don't provide enough humidity, the wood will just keep absorbing it
Okay.
and absorbing it.
Yeah.
And then you'll put your cigars in there and the humidity will continue to drop and you're going to sit there and go, why am I doing this? Now my cigars are getting dry and you think you have to add more water and you add more water and then all of a sudden you overcompensate.
Yeah.
And you end up in this situation where now you can't get the damn thing below 75% because everything is so
Saturated.
exactly, saturated is a perfect word for it. So it's slow and steady.
Okay.
With a wood humidor, 4 weeks, it can go by in a heartbeat. And then you'll start to see, oh, okay, this is where it's starting to settle in at. And just, if it spikes up, don't worry about it. Let it settle back down and find out where it settles, and then add a little more moisture.
Okay.
Let it spike up, and then let it settle down. So it's sort of like that graph where you go up
Yeah.
and back down, up and back down. And the cool part is with the Spanish cedar in there, there'll be one day where the angels will sing when you open it. Because you'll get that mix of the cigars and the Spanish cedar, and it's just like, oh my God. Another thing you can do is if you find that it's taking more moisture than typical, and that's going to happen in January, February, and March,
Yeah.
because our furnaces are
Kicking
running
on.
full blast,
Yeah.
and you're trying to humidify your entire house with your humidor. Take your rag
Yeah.
and moisten it up, and just run it around the lip like this, and here. And that it'll expand that wood just a little bit more than the rest, and it just tightens the seal up.
Okay.
Really nice.
I've also found that with most wood humidors, desktop humidors, it's not a bad idea that every start of winter season, end of October, beginning of November, to re-season your humidor.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it just kind of gives it that kick.
You'll notice it. It's like the RH is going like this, and then all of a sudden one day, October, November, it's like, what the?
What have
And
I done?
typically, what have I done? Well, you haven't done a damn thing.
Yeah.
Your furnace kicked on and you didn't realize it.
Okay.
And the humidity started to drop off because the wind is blowing outside, it's fall, and
Yeah.
everything's, so don't worry about it, it's not a big deal.
And like I said, yeah, when you mount those magnets, and don't put these on for about a day, 24 hours. So put on your metal plates here
Yep.
with the double-sided tape. Don't put anything on it, and let them sit. In fact, some people say it's best to put a weight on there, but you don't want to keep your lid open after you just seasoned the thing and stuff. So just pop them on there, let them sit for 24 hours, and you'll be good.
The other thing you can do is if you put the plates on,
Yeah.
with magnets like that, put the plates on here, peel the backing off of the two-sided tape,
Yeah.
press and hold it in place, take that, try to take it off but without moving them too much, then give them 60 seconds of some good pressure. Then what you can do is put that back on and take your trays out. You're seasoned on the inside, put some books or something on there and just turn your humidor upside down, and then the weight will hold it
Okay.
in place.
Yeah.
And those plates will never fall off of there then.
Yeah.
Then you're laughing. I would, in your case, I would really consider putting one of the humidifiers on the second tray, on the bottom of the second tray. You're gonna find a lot more success that way.
Okay.
Yeah, the name, the original name for these is the Havana Footlocker.
It's definitely a footlocker.
The model on it is 400 FL, 400 stick footlocker. And then they called it the Medici for some reason, I don't know why. But it's for your first step into aging, this is one of the best units, because you can get full-size boxes in there and you don't have to go crazy with Tetris.
Yeah.
Just be careful if you're getting a whole bunch of boxes in there. Jamie mentioned rotation. Don't be afraid to rotate,
Okay.
because that way you get the boxes moved around. And don't worry about the cigars inside the box. They'll eventually get that humidity. The moisture content will come through. It'll may take some time, but don't worry about that.
Okay.
With the cigar boxes being wood,
Yeah.
all wood is porous, right? So
Wooden paper.
yeah, wooden paper, and so they'll allow that moisture to penetrate and go in, just as all wooden boxes allow some moisture to come out, and so that's why You know, some people will say, oh, you know, I can't keep humidity. Well, as long as you maintain properly, you're fine. You know, so that's why you may have to, you know, give it a zap at, you know, November and re-season. Yeah, that Foot Locker is great. There's a lot of guys that have these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stabilization beads are not going to make a lot of difference in something this big.
Okay.
There's just so much wood. It's like, it's a medium that's going to hold the moisture content. If you notice it is dropping, it's the wood that's starting to lose
The humidity, the moisture in it.
the moisture content, yeah. Which in turn reduces the humidity. Yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't worry about stabilization beads in there. The key is just providing a steady amount of moisture
Yeah.
to keep that humidity at the level you want. Keeping in mind that the ambient is going to affect it.
Yeah.
So if your furnace is running and your humidifier isn't, then you're going to have to provide more. If it's summertime and it's warmer in the house, and where you're storing your humidor is getting warmer, the moisture content is going to start to increase, even though the RH stays the same.
Okay.
It's a really interesting thing. There's a guy on YouTube called Cigar Climatology. Go watch some of his videos. He explains it really well. He's a little bit of a geek, so it sometimes takes a bit to start to understand it. But in essence, as temperature increases,
Yeah.
even though the RH stays the same, the relative humidity,
Yeah.
moisture content will increase.
Okay.
And you want to keep the goal, the holy grail is to keep your cigars at a consistent moisture content. 13.5% is
Yeah.
what the experts say.
Okay.
For us, that we can't measure the moisture content in the cigar, we're stuck with, well, the RH is 65%, and that's what I go for. So it's kind of like saying, the temperature in your fridge is this because every time I pick up my beer, it feels right.
Okay.
We know some guys that they don't put hygrometers in
Yep.
their humidors. They just go by how it feels
Yep.
and how it smokes. And they'll adjust their humidity just based on that. So they don't go by an RH number. They don't go by, oh, it should be at 70. It should be at 65. Well, I keep mine at 67. No. Are they smoking properly? Or are they smoking to my liking? And that's what they go by. And, okay, I'll feel it. Oh, it's got a little bit of a, some softness to it, but there's not a lot of crackling. And, I mean, it's just...
Interesting.
So, I mean, there's from soup to nuts.
Those are guys that have been doing it for 15, 20 years though too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you get further down the path,
Yeah.
you'll start to learn that. But yeah, that's hygrometer's already starting to come up. Leave it in there for, like I said, minimum of 24 hours.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do anything else to the inside of that guy other than mount the humidifiers now.
Yeah.
And you can charge them up too.
Okay.
And mount them, as we explained, put the plates on,
Yeah.
put some weight on them, then charge them, and then let them sit. And by that time, that guy should be calibrated, and you can put it in there and see where you're at.
Also, when you introduce your sticks into there,
Yeah.
don't be alarmed that all of a sudden your readings go wacky, because your sticks are not going to be at the exact same of what's in that box. They might be a little bit drier, they might be a little bit wetter. So check it after a day, 2 days, 3 days, and just start to monitor it. And
Okay.
then do any adjustments that you need, but don't do it after the first day or two and go, oh shit, something's wrong. Because introducing new sticks is gonna, you introduce some new cigars, I don't, wherever you got them from, and whoever was storing them, before they sold them or whichever, they may have them up here at this humidity. And you put in
Yeah.
5, 10, 20 cigars,
Yeah.
all of a sudden that's going to change what that interior box is reading. So yeah, those things always happen. And you know, what do we do, or why do we enjoy cigars? Relaxation. You know, just sit back, enjoy life, enjoy the world. And then we go to our humidors and go, oh, freaking out. I want this to change right away. No, it's just cigars, man. You know, just sit back, relax, enjoy,
Yeah.
let the process go.